Not love. Don't forget. Just a silly thing. Oh, yeah. Not love. Don't forget. Just a silly thing. Oh, yeah. Not love. Don't forget. Just a silly thing. Forget. Not love. No, no. Hi, this is Trepacer. Welcome to Trepacer Saturday Reviews. I went to see, as I promised in my blog this morning, I went to see Insidious Part 3. I didn't see Spy because I got kind of caught up movie shopping and got distracted and stayed longer than I wanted to, actually, in Barnes & Noble, but that's another thing. But I did get back in time to watch another movie along, with Insidious Part 3. I was able to watch Men, Women, and Children. Okay, so I'm going to talk about Insidious 3, Part 3, which is actually a prequel, actually. Hold on, let me show you this. Okay, there it is, Insidious Part 3. You can see that it's in focus. Anyway, but that's the ticket for Insidious Part 3. Anyway, let's talk about that. Insidious, basically, it begins with a teenager, Quinn Brenner, going to see Elise Rayner, the psychic. That was in, of course, the previous two movies. And like I said, this takes place before those events. Okay, and her mother, Quinn's mother, has recently passed of cancer. She died of cancer. Okay, and of course, she misses her mom, and she wants to talk. Her father's sort of distance. He's got to take care of her and his little brother, and he's working. And he's not really talking about their mother with her, and she's at a very important stage in her life where she's getting ready to graduate high school and go to college, and of course she wants to be an actress, and she misses her mom, and she explains, she got Elise's name from a friend, and she goes to Elise to say, listen, I've been talking to my mom, and I think she hears me. At first, Elise kind of blows off and tells her that she doesn't really do the readings anymore, but she kind of invites her in anyway since he came over, and they start talking, and she basically tells her, listen, when you contact the dead, you gotta be careful because all the dead are listening, and they might, the wrong people may answer back. Okay, so she tells us, don't contact her, don't contact your, don't try to contact your mother. And of course, when she goes back, Quinn, she starts to experience these weird things that are basically she's getting haunted. Have you seen the trailer? You know what I mean. She gets basically haunted by this evil spirit, and weird things start to happen. She's in a car accident. She starts seeing things, and she gets into a car accident, and she really starts seeing things, and strange things start happening, and she's basically going on her mind. Of course, her father at first doesn't believe it, but then more and more of these things happen, and he does believe it, and he goes to Elise Rayner and begs her, please come back and help my daughter. She's going through something, and I can't help her, and I need you. And that begins the movie, the main thrust of the movie. Basically, this young girl is getting haunted by this evil spirit who wants to possess her, of course, and Elise has to, basically, like she did in the previous movies, go into the dark world and rescue her before this evil spirit takes her completely over. And I really enjoyed this movie. I mean, it was really a nice addition to the Insidious trilogy, as it were, even though it's a prequel and it takes place before the events of the first two movies. I think they did a great job with this, and because you felt sympathy for the main actress that was getting haunted. Her name was Stephanie Scott, I believe. That's her name. Yeah, Stephanie Scott. She plays Quinn, and then you had Dermot Mulroney. He plays the father, Sean Brennan, and then you had Lynn Shea, of course, as Elise. And again, this movie had jump scares and some pretty horrific things were happening in this movie, and I really enjoyed this. I thought this was a nice addition. I still think the first movie is the best one out of the three, I guess. And I guess if I was to rank them, I guess it would be the first movie, I think, and then this movie, and then the second movie. I guess in my terms of me liking them. Okay, and I give credit to the actors. I thought they did a great job, and also you get a little background on Elise's character and stuff, and what she's gone through, and why she doesn't do the readings anymore. And they also show you the two assistants and basically how they came to be to work with Elise. And it's a good movie. Like I said, it has some good scares in it, and the story affects you. Like I said, you cared for the characters. You worried about this Quinn, whether she you didn't want her, of course, to be taken over and stuff. And so, like I said, that's my thing. It had good horror in it. You cared for the characters, and the writing was good, and the acting was good in this. So I'm going to give overall Insidious Chapter 3 a 7.5. Okay, I give it a 7.5. I really enjoyed it, and I definitely recommend it. It's a nice addition to the family and to the movies, and definitely recommend you go see it. Now, men, women, and children. This movie came out in 2014, I believe. Yep, 2014. And this movie was similar to a movie called Disconnect, which came out, I think, in 2012. You have all these different stories with these different people. They're all interrelated, and they also talk about technology and how that affects the different people. And you have these separate stories that are sort of interconnecting because the people in the group kind of know each other, but they have their own separate stories. And of course, this movie was written and directed by Jason Reitman, who did Juno and Up in the Air. Okay, and Juno I liked. I haven't seen Up in the Air, but Juno I liked a lot. Anyway, in this movie, of course, is Rosemary DeWitt, Adam Sandler. You have Jennifer Garner. You have excuse me, I almost poked myself in the eye there. You have Ansel Elgort, who was in what's the movie? Fault in Our Stars, right there. Was him. And basically, it's the story of the parents and kids and the way technology and stuff. How people communicate through cell phones, through internet, through Facebook, and you have all these individual stories that go on at the same time. Like I said, various people know each other, but their stories are sort of separate, but they do kind of come together in some parts. And you have Adam Sandler, sorry about that, had the window open, and Rosemary DeWitt. They play a married couple who's kind of going through the motions. They have 2 kids, and their sex life is kind of non-existent. And of course, they go looking actually using technology to get thrills up elsewhere outside of their home. And then you have Jennifer Garner, who's being a really strict, overprotective mother, who's constantly monitoring her daughter, her internet usage, her cell phone usage, everything. She's just like an overly protective mother who's afraid of everything, and she's protecting, going overboard basically with it. And then you have Ansel Elgort right there, whose mother has left him and his dad, and she's moved to California, and he's lost all desire to play football. He's quit the football team, and he's basically all in his own world, just playing online games and stuff until he meets Jennifer Garner's daughter, and they sort of hit it off, and they start to see each other. And then you also have Judy Greer, who plays a single mom who has a teenage daughter who's kind of highly sexual, and she's filming stuff for her, trying to get her auditions to be an actress and stuff, and she sort of crosses the line with the filming of her daughter and stuff. And I don't want to spoil anything more about it. Now, this movie has a great cast and good acting, but I thought this movie was not as good as that movie Disconnect. Disconnect, I thought, was stronger, and a lot of the stories in there, they don't give you enough background, at least to me, to explain certain things, like how Jennifer Garner's character was the way she was, the overly protective mother and stuff. They don't, they could have, I think, went into a little bit of her background. Maybe something happened in the past to her, or something. That's why she's the way she is. And also with Ansel Elgort's, his father, like I said, his mother left the father and went to California, and they don't really get into the reasons why she did that. It just is, and then basically they show you the effect of that. And also, there's another actress in this who's like a friend of one of the cheerleaders, who's basically anorexic, and she's not eating and trying to fit in. And like I said, I thought this movie had great potential and stuff, but I still think it didn't. The writing was not as strong as it could have been. I think a lot of the stories were kind of underdeveloped, but that's not the fault of the actors. It's the fault of the writer, I think, in my opinion, because I think the actors did a good job with the material that they had. I thought Trudy Greer was good. I thought Adam Sandler and Rosa DeWitt was good, and I loved Ansel Elgort and the young girl that played his love interest, which I'm trying to remember her name. Hold on, let's see. What was her name? Yeah, Caitlin Dever. That's her name. I thought she was really good too, as a girl that was Jennifer Garner's daughter, who was overly protective of her, and she basically had to sneak out and hide things to try to, have some kind of online presence because her mother was constantly monitoring everything and just blocking her from stuff and just making her life a living hell. Okay, but like I said, the writing I don't think was, because they don't really go into the background of certain characters, so you don't know why they are the way they are, which kind of you have to kind of, I guess, accept it on face value. But it would have been nice to understand why Jennifer Garner was the way she was, why Adam Sandler and his wife Rosemary DeWitt, why they drifted apart, okay, and also why Ansel Elgort's why his mom left the dad. They don't really tell you why she left, okay. So, but like I said, I don't. So that's why I think this. Well, okay, this movie's not as good as Disconnect. I think Disconnect is a way better film. I thought it was better written than this, but the cast is good in this. Just like, I don't think the story was as strong as it could have been. Okay, so overall, I did enjoy it though. And then my favorite story was, of course, Ansel Elgort and Kathleen Dever, their story. But there's two people, I guess, who kind of find each other, and I love the way their story wound up. That's all I'm going to say about that. But overall, it's an entertaining movie, just not as strong as. If you want to see a better movie that deals better, I think, with the technology and the different people and how it affects them, I think Disconnect is the better movie than this. Although this is a decent movie. So overall, I'm going to give Men, Women, and Children a 7 out of 10. Okay, like I said, it could have been better. It could have been an 8 if the little bit of the story were, the character's background were, I think, built up stronger and gave you more insight to why they were the way they were. Okay, so a 7 out of 10 for me. And again, Insidious Chapter 3, I thought was a decent entry into the series. You cared about the characters. There's some good scares in it and stuff, and they gave you a little background on the characters, the psychic, so you knew a little bit about her and stuff and her whole story, and you cared about the young lady that was getting affected. And I thought the acting was decent in that movie as well. So Insidious Chapter 3, I'm going to give it a 7.5. I definitely recommend you go see that. It's definitely a nice entry into the series. Okay, anyway, let me know what you think. Feel free to leave comments down below. And this is Trepacer saying so long and take care.